What is up, my party people? Welcome to another episode of the Films with Ferrell podcast. For those of you counting at home or probably viewing on your streaming site, welcome to episode 8. That is right, we have lasted 8 episodes so far, officially more than half of NBC sitcoms. So very excited for that. Even more excited to be talking about the film that we will be reviewing today. It is on the HBO Max platform, meaning we won't have to go to the movie theater. We won't have to buy popcorn. We won't have to buy drinks. We won't have to, well, I do miss kind of sitting in that leather seat with the ass warmers that I have talked about in a couple episodes now, but we are reviewing the 2001 Hugh Jackman starring Reminiscence. Didn't know how the hell to pronounce it the first couple times, had to sound it out, hooked on phonics. Shout out to you guys if you're still in business. Reminiscence, the 2001 PG-13 rated. This is the second PG-13 rated movie that I think we've done. Free Guy was last week. Absolutely outstanding for those of you that listen to this one. Going to be diving into the thick that is this movie. It's a lot more going on than some of the other movies I reviewed in the past. It's got a lot of great elements to it. Shout out to Jonathan Nolan having a little bit of piece on there. His wife, Lisa Joy, wrote and directed this movie. Really has some Nolan aspects to it. Jonathan Nolan, Lisa Joy, kind of from the Westworld area. It does have kind of like a Westworld feel to it. It has kind of like a sci-fi feel to it as well. So really excited to be going through and talking about this movie with you today, folks. Even more excited to talk about the sponsor for episode 8. Big shout out here. So obviously, if you're a fan of the show, a lot of different sponsors throughout our 8 episodes. Very grateful for each and every one of them, allowing us to be in this space. But big shout out to new sponsor of the show, Atomic Antacid. A little bit different here, not our traditional type of sponsor, but Atomic Antacid. That tasty treat for anyone really over 25. When you get to that point of the age, you kind of start throwing back some antacids and just kind of call it a day before you go to bed. So Atomic Antacids, folks, strap in. It's going to be a good one. Let's get after it. All right, folks. So, like I mentioned, we are reviewing the 2021 HBO Max showing Hugh Jackman starring Lisa Joy Wright and Jonathan Nolan influencing movie Reminiscence. Like I mentioned earlier, Lisa Joy, Jonathan Nolan married. Lisa Joy, writer on a lot of the episodes of Westworld. Jonathan Nolan, director, writer, producer, what have you. Last name kind of says it all right there. A lot of Nolan aspects to it, especially when we're thinking about the Westworld. The Westworld also on HBO, probably why and how Lisa Joy was able to get this movie as her first actual legitimate movie directing. Nonetheless, thought she did a fantastic job. But Westworld, if you haven't checked it out as well, a lot of sci-fi, gets you to think aspects, very much like a Lost, except for they're not on an island. Well, they are kind of on an island, but it's more of a futuristic, fucking weird island. Check out Westworld, check out Lost, but more importantly, let's check out Reminiscence. Very futuristic vibe to it. Apparently there was some war being fought out there where Hugh Jackman was a soldier in this war. A lot of people were soldiers in the war. It's really weird. All of the coast is kind of like a water land where you go to bed during the day because it's very hot because the sun's beating down. You're kind of like out in the ocean, and nighttime is the time to be alive. It's the time where shit gets done. So that was very weird. I wish they would have developed a little bit more on what the hell this war was. I paid attention for a very good majority of this movie, and I still couldn't really tell you what the war was, who it was against. Really no flashback sequences either, but it does play a role in the film. As I've been describing this movie, though, it is that of a futuristic Shakespearean love tragedy. I can say that without giving the movie away. I think it has a lot of, really Shakespeare-esque elements to the movie. It's got love, it's got mystery, it's got murder, it's got, I guess, sci-fi. That's not really in any Shakespeare literature that I've read, but who knows? Romeo and Juliet might have some weird fucking aliens in there, Hamlet, Macbeth, who knows? Merchant of Venice, I digress. It's got some action in it too. Obviously, prone in any sort of movie or written play. Good movie though. It kind of just really without giving anything away, because we'll talk about that here in a little bit, before we give the pause and everything. It gets you to think. So Hugh Jackman has this machine where people come in and lay down. He actually takes part in a lot as well. Gets hooked up to some neurotronic type transmitters. No science degree here, folks, just like talking to a microphone. So they're hooked up and they're replaying memories. Now, these memories could have been from, yesterday morning. Hey, did I turn off the stove before I left? Where did I leave my keys? Which is actually used in the movie. Or, hey, I haven't seen or played with my dog in 10 years. I want to go back to a memory of me playing with my dog. So where not a lot of shit is happening in the current, more and more people are coming back, laying in this little cesspool type pod thing and reliving the past. Business is booming. A lot of people come to Hugh Jackman and actually do this. Something that's very interesting as well, I guess, crime in the future. They have, I guess, suspects. They can subpoena somebody and actually put them through there and replay memories as well. So, hey, if you see someone confess to a murder or a crime or anything like that, if you're doing a crime, they lay you down in there, put you to sleep and play back in your memories. Boom, you're busted. So no more of the, getting away with murder or what have you. It's literally all, if someone saw it happen or if you saw it happen, your shit's kind of, on blast and you're going to jail. So it was something unique as well with that. Hugh Jackman actually is a police officer of sorts. He gets called into consult for that as well. But without giving too much more of the way, interesting movie, interesting concept, kind of gets you to, think, hey, would you rather relive and rewatch the past or stay in the present and push towards making your own future? So it is really interesting in that regard when we're thinking about that movie. But in terms of thinking about things and thinking about the future, if we really think about the future, we think about atomic antacid. I know if I'm having a whole bunch of pizza and wings, I can see the future. I can see the future is going to be some heartburn on my couch, just being nauseous, having my stomach upset, not really knowing what the heck I'm going to do, just crying in agony because it hurts so bad. There's one of two things I can do. I can stop eating the pizza and wings. I can live a miserable life and just walk around and not really know what to do with my life, eat a kale salad, do that, or I can take some atomic antacids. I could be fine within the period of about 5 to 10 minutes and carry on with my day, maybe carry on with eating more pizza and wings. It's really a dealer's choice. I can live to the future rather than sulking in the present or, wanting to go back to the past when I wouldn't have had that in my stomach. I can actually gear myself towards the future because I have some beautiful antacids actually eating up that shit inside of my stomach, putting a smile on my face. So if you haven't checked them out, folks, atomic antacid, please do. That beautiful part in the show, folks, where I mention anything moving forward, we will be talking a little bit about some spoilers. So if you haven't already put this thing on pause, go invest an hour, 56 minutes of your time. Go watch this movie. Like I said, you're not traveling anywhere. You're watching it right on a streaming site. Life really can't get easier than that, folks. Movie surprisingly did not do too good at the box office. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was a great story. I just thought it was a great story all around without kind of diving in too much more. So moving forward, hey, we're going to get after it. So hit pause if you don't like spoilers. But yeah, folks, I really like this movie. When we think about it, a lot of great aspects, really getting to think, hey, do I want to, relive in the past or do I want to go towards the future? Hugh Jackman spending that whole time, still just kind of, Hugh Jackman basically got ghosted. Met a girl, fell in love with her after 4 months, got completely ghosted. Didn't know what was going on, still trying to get over that heartbreak, still just kind of going back into the past, just trying to figure out what's going on, and reliving that time with her, finds out, hey, this is maybe where she was. She was kind of hooked on some drugs at one point. Maybe she's going back there. Start just following the details a little bit more. Hey, was she a grifter? Did I, get had, what's going on. I guess everything was just kind of, false. Hey, this is actually like an evil girl. She duped me. And then we find out, hey, she did dupe him, but then she also fell in love with him. I mean, she was at the fucking door, banging on the fucking door while he was in that chamber. Had he not been in that chamber, he could have just gone out there, got her story over. All lives happily ever after. I really thought the ending when he's reliving that memory in one of the goons, the bad cop, reliving kind of the story. She's, smart enough to actually be talking to him, knowing that, hey, if I give him enough clues, he's going to piece everything together and he is going to jump into this guy's brain. And then when you see May, I guess just take all of those weird drugs that they have in the movie that they're peddling that I really couldn't figure out what they were. They look like black, what are they, the cherry, like cherry licorice type jelly beans, I guess. It looks like she just shoveled a whole bunch in there, which I would love to shovel a whole bunch of jelly beans in my mouth. Not illegal drugs, but definitely jelly beans. And then she just, dies. And that was just heartbreaking. I mean, they mention in the movie, hey, tell me a happy story. And Hugh Jackman's basically like, hey, there are no happy stories, just happy stories that have like a happy middle and have a bad ending. And then she's like, okay, tell me a happy story, but, just end it in the middle. And for some reason, right when they said that, you kind of knew the fate of May at the very end of the movie. You knew she probably had to die, but, part of me, I guess the romantic in me just really hoping that, hey, somehow she does stay alive. They get back together at the very end and, hey, roll the credits. Everybody leaves the movie happy. But when you find out that she's dead, and kind of just everything. Hey, she loved him the entire time. She did this to protect him, did this to protect a small child as well. Pretty devastating. And then just to kind of, again, you're posed with the question at the very end, well, really throughout the whole movie. If you had a loved one like that, if you had someone that you very, very much cared about, and you were with them and you had a great time, hey, would you relive the past or carry on a future without them? In Hugh Jackman's case, he went back into the tank. I guess he got an early plea deal for, bringing down the corruption that takes place in the movie. And he's like, hey, just leave me in the tank for the rest of my life. And I am just going to watch the same, 4 to 6 months of memories on repeat until he's dead. I thought that was very wild. We just see a very aged Hugh Jackman at the very end and his assistants bringing him flowers. She had, progressed forward. She had got back in touch with her daughter, now has a granddaughter. And that was great to see. Hey, she, in her life situation, she knew that she had some unfinished business to take care of. She got her ass moving and she changed her future. In Hugh Jackman's case, he could not really imagine a life without May. So that's when he dove into the tank and just started reliving the past. So you see both sides kind of play out there. And that's really where, while you're just kind of watching this, it just kind of really reminded me of something that you would see, straight out of Shakespeare. I didn't really do too much research into the writing behind this movie, but I feel like some Shakespearean love tragedies had to have a role in the making of this film. I personally thought it was just a very good film. I'm going to definitely give it a thumb and a half up. It had some action aspects, but, action's great. I love story. I love development. I love, little Easter eggs throughout the movie that actually get you to think. And then, you can start forming your own opinions and tie it all together at the very end of the movie. I like being right when I can kind of guess the projections of what's going to happen next in the movie. But, with this movie, I was able to do some. With some, I was just kind of left totally out of whack. Especially with the ending. I didn't really see that coming. I mean, I guess you could, but I thought she was going to live. But yeah, I mean, there are some action aspects. Hey, there's some gunfights and things like that. If you're looking for a full-on action-packed, blood, guts, smearing, people shooting, people killing, whatever, it's not that type of movie. It's more of... I would say a love tragedy with some action, some mystery, some sci-fi, all kind of sprinkled in a very futuristic tone. But very, I like this movie. I liked it a lot. Some people that I've talked to so far that have seen this movie, they have mixed reviews. But those people as well are more so just straight action. You give me a great storyline with some action on the side, I'm hooked all day long. So definitely recommending this movie. Like I said, definitely a thumb and a half up. I would give it for sure. So let you form your own opinions. Let me know what you think. Reach out. But definitely recommending this movie, especially it's on HBO, so you don't really have to go anywhere. I mean, that's just a big sell. You don't want to carve out time to go to the movie theater. You want to sit your ass down in the comfort of your own home, hit the pause button if you've had too much to drink, go take a leak, come back, hit the resume button, and you are good to go. As always, appreciate you guys making the time here for episode 8. We got 2 more episodes left before we take a little bit of a break, recharge, refuel, come back, season 2. We'll be talking about that a little bit more once we get to episode 10 here of the podcast. As always, appreciate you guys making the time. Big shout out again to our lovely, lovely sponsor, Atomic and Acid. Achy, agonizing abdominal attack. ? Atomic and Acid. Folks, we will see you soon.